All right, a lot of the questions some of the questions I go over today are going to be from the note spiral, and this is one of them. This is one I don't particularly care for, but it covers a lot of ground from Unit 1. So here we go. When a tractor pulls a plow through an agricultural field, the energy needed to pull that plow is called the draft. The draft is affected by environmental conditions such as soil type, terrain, and moisture. So that's kind of important there. This is actually going to help us out later because they're saying, hey, you know what? The energy necessary to pull the plow is impacted by these things. A study was conducted to determine whether a newly developed hitch would be able to reduce the draft compared to the standard hitch. 2 large plots of land were used in the study. It was randomly determined which plot was to be plowed using the standard hitch. As the tractor plowed the plot, a measurement device automatically recorded the draft at 25 selected points in the plot. So let's real quickly draw a picture here. We have random assignment, and we're randomly assigning the hitch to either plot 1 or plot 2. That's important because it didn't go to both plots. All right, that's going to be an important thing at some point. After the plot was plowed, the hitch was changed from the standard one to the new one, a process that takes a substantial amount of time. Someone had to whine. Then the second plot was plowed using the new hitch. 25 measurements of draft were also recorded at randomly selected points in this plot. So what was the response variable? Well, the response variable in this case is the draft, all right? The treatments are the type of hitch. We have 2 different treatments. We have the standard hitch and the new hitch. And the experimental units are the 2 fields, all right? Given that the goal of the study is to determine whether a newly developed hitch reduces draft compared to the standard hitch, was randomization used properly in the study? Justify your response. Well, in this particular case, I don't really like what they did here, but they told us that when we go back and we go, okay, did they do that? It was randomly determined. All right, I don't like that they just randomly determined. I wish they told me what it was, because if you say randomly determined it, they're not going to accept it. But if you say, hey, I put papers in a hat and I drew or I flipped a coin, that's great. But yeah, they did random assignment. Because they did random assignment, and it's an experiment, so it's random assignment, they randomly assigned the treatments, then randomization was properly applied, right? Given that the goal of the study is to determine whether a newly developed hitch reduces draft compared to the standard hitch, was replication properly used? Well, replication refers to applying the treatments to multiple subjects. When we drew our diagram, we only applied the hitch to one subject and the other hitch to the other subject. So we don't have replication. So replication was not properly employed. Each treatment was only applied to one of the experimental units as opposed to both. All right. Plot of land is a confounding variable. So confounding occurs when we're unable to determine the variable that is causing the changes that we are observing. In this case, we might not know whether it's the plot of land or the hitch. So the plot of land is a confounding variable in the experiment. We're not able to determine whether the hitch or the plot of land is creating the differences in the draft, because both of them could impact the draft. If I have soft soil, I probably have a low, I won't have to use very much energy. Pull it. But if I have rocky soil like we have in Stone Oak, it may take a lot of energy to pull it. So consequently, the 2 plots of land are confounding variables. And that is also why there's a problem with replication, because with replication would have handled that, because I would have said, oh, this one got soft soil and it got rocky soil. You needed to apply it to both hitches so that we could generalize to a larger group. All right, now I know I went through this quickly, so let me see what questions we have.